I always tell everybody, I don't go in there looking for the knockout. I go looking for the win. But if he get out of line, he's going to be the next one down.
Terence Crawford, he has definitely gone under the radar. 4-weight world champion, 41-0, 31 knockouts. A southpaw who's got IQ and speed and craft. I think it's a fabulously interesting match.
Great fight. The reason I have so much confidence is because I really believe that Bud Crawford doesn't fear Canelo Álvarez. A lot of his opponents.
Terence Crawford lit up the press conference with a fiery exchange directed at Canelo Álvarez. While Crawford emphasized that his focus is always on proving himself inside the ring, he didn't hold back in warning Canelo that any disrespect would make things personal fast. His sharp words highlighted not only his mental edge, but also the intensity he's bringing into this matchup, leaving fans with no doubt about his confidence and determination heading into the fight.
You were there and stuff. You were see you were talking to. Let Aaron. You because you keep talking. You doing all that talking. That's how you doing all that talking. You can't be always talking. I come back. You don't talk, and you talking too much. This you want some attention. Some eye contact right here. This is gonna be legendary. Right here. Female ass. See y'all tuning in. This is a legendary old school fight. Get out. Some attention, put the camera on him because that's what he's doing, showing out like a female. Let him finish, bud. Go ahead, EJ.
Yeah.
Greg Hackett has been outspoken in backing Terence Crawford against Canelo Álvarez, crediting Crawford's fearless mentality. He explains that unlike many fighters who hesitate when facing Canelo's dominance, Crawford steps in without intimidation. Hackett emphasizes that Crawford's confidence isn't arrogance, but the result of years of discipline, victories, and adaptability. In his view, confidence itself is a fighter's greatest weapon, and Crawford carries plenty of it. He believes Crawford's mental resilience makes this fight less of an uphill battle and more of another chance to prove he thrives under pressure.
Hello, yeah. They taking Crawford. You got people that was taking Crawford. They taking Canelo.
Yeah.
What do you make of it?
It should be that way because we talking about a great fight here. We talking about two great athletes. So when it's like this, it's better for the betting. You know what I mean? All the people that like to bet, it's better for them. You know what I mean? Because nobody knows where the money gonna land. The reason I have so much confidence in this fight, you know, thinking that it's going to be a great fight. The reason I have so much confidence because I really believe that Bud Crawford doesn't fear Canelo Álvarez. A lot of his opponents in the past were nervous and scared from the beginning. I don't think Bud feel that way at all. I think we're going to get a good rumble on our hands. You know what I mean? It's just going to come down to the big question for Bud is, can he take the shot? You know what I'm saying? The question I think for Canelo is, does he get old? I say that for a reason. He got a lot of fights, bro. He got, I think he going on almost 70 fights. You know what I'm saying? Or he a little bit under 70. That's a lot of fights for current time. You know what I'm saying? And Bud got a lot of gas still left, but he's older as well. You know what I mean? A lot of people would like to give him shit for not being able to take a shot, or not that he didn't take the shot, but getting buzzed with some shots at lower weight classes. So it's like, how can he handle himself at 168 pounds? But you have to understand the physical to understand how. You know what I mean? I'm not about to get into all of that, but you know what I mean? I do understand he will be a lot more sturdy at 68. I mean, if you smart, you've seen it at 47 versus.
Adam Smith, one of boxing's most respected commentators, calls the potential Canelo Álvarez versus Terence Crawford clash a monumental step up for Crawford, but a winnable one. He highlights Crawford's elite boxing IQ, adaptability, and precision in exploiting opponents' weaknesses. Smith notes that Canelo's defensive style can leave small openings, which Crawford's speed and sharp mind could capitalize on. He sees the fight being decided on points, with Crawford outthinking and outmaneuvering Canelo over 12 rounds. For Smith, a Crawford victory wouldn't be far-fetched, but a testament to skill, strategy, and intelligence at the highest level.
September the 13th, it's billed as Fight of the Century. I do feel as though this one, for such an unbelievably good fight, the prospect of, it has gone under the radar a bit. We've spoken more about fights that are not even.
No, but you back Ben. I mean, how much you spoke about?
No,
that?
I love that fight.
Yeah, but compared to these two guys,
that's because we had it.
But that's in Britain. That's prime time here. It's the football casuals. I think the problem with this fight is it is just a fabulous boxing matchup and one with all sorts of curiosity between two superstars. The Ring magazine's dedicated the entire magazine, but this is boxing. It's hardcore boxing. I think Canelo is known. I think Canelo, obviously the Mexican machismo that holds all the super middleweight titles, nearly 70-odd fights. He's been phenomenal. I think he's 35 now. But for Terence Crawford, he has definitely gone under the radar. 4-weight world champion, 41-0, 31 knockouts. A southpaw who's got IQ and speed and craft. I think it's a fabulously interesting matchup, the two of them, because you've got the big guy, the strong super middleweight, really, really cultured, wonderful fighter in Canelo. But is he just slightly, ever so slightly, fine margins past his peak? And you've got Crawford, who needs this fight as his coming out party. The big news, it's on Netflix, so he'll get the attention. Can Crawford do it? It's a huge step again in weights, but I think he's got the speed, and I think he's got the know-how, I'm sure we'll talk about it more next week, to cause problems for Canelo, and I think that he could win it on points.
Ade Oladipo takes a more critical view of Canelo Álvarez versus Terence Crawford, arguing that while the fight has generated huge buzz, it lacks the genuine intrigue of recent high-profile matchups like Usyk versus Dubois. He points to the natural weight gap and heavy expectations in Canelo's favor as factors that make the bout feel less competitive. Unlike Usyk versus Dubois, which offered clashing styles and real unpredictability, Oladipo sees Crawford versus Canelo as more of a promotional spectacle than a truly balanced fight.
Like, you know, it's been billed as the biggest fight of the century, SummerSlam the biggest fight of all time. Let's calm down, people. Let's breathe a little bit. It's a big fight. But it doesn't quite feel like those things. It doesn't feel like the biggest fight of the century. Like, this doesn't feel like, and maybe because I work these events, so it's slightly different, but this doesn't feel like Usyk Fury, for example. It doesn't feel like that at all. That felt like, oh my God, this is going to happen. Undisputed heavyweight title fight. Remember, this is an undisputed super middleweight title fight. It just feels a bit lacking of something. Like, I can't believe that Max Kellerman is now part of this. And again, for nostalgia, we haven't got a Max Kellerman face-off. Like, how Canelo speaks great English now. How we haven't got that? Just to kind of give it a bit of spice, because Canelo, with his English, it's like he's only learnt the bad words. He does chat a lot of shit. So I almost feel like we should have done that. Maybe because it's on Netflix, it hasn't got a bit of a push from ESPN. Obviously, there's no DAZN stuff, obviously, because DAZN are not covering it. I feel like it's lacking something. And maybe because both of them don't trash talk either. Because when I think of the biggest fights of the last sort of 15, 20 years, you've always had one side of the fight, or one side is a big trash talker. In some instances, two. The biggest fights, again, Usyk Fury. Fury was happy to do all the trash talking. Sold it. Event went massive. Mayweather Pacquiao. Mayweather is happy to do all that, right? Mayweather McGregor. Hence why that went just colossal, because you got two of the biggest trash talkers ever doing it. This time, Canelo ain't saying anything. Crawford ain't saying anything. Feels a bit flat. Feels a little bit.
Promoters have pushed hard to brand Crawford versus Canelo as the fight of the century, turning it into more than just a boxing match. With Netflix's involvement, the hype has reached new heights through exclusive behind-the-scenes footage, documentaries, interviews, and press conferences. This strategy has drawn in not only hardcore boxing fans, but also casual viewers worldwide, making the event feel like a cultural spectacle. By blending sports with entertainment, the promotion has built anticipation on par with the biggest crossover events in history.
I'm holding you to the standard you said. They're tagging this the fight of the century, colossal, super fight, Netflix, Dana White, right? So now we got to look at it. You can't tell me something. See, I'm not the type of person where you could pee on my leg and tell me it's raining. If that's you and you're going to let somebody urinate on your leg and tell you it's raining, that's on you. But I don't do that. I'm a critical thinker, and I'm not just going to listen to what you tell me and see if the facts don't support that, right? So if this is the fight of the century, let's look at it. Boxing tickets, Canelo versus Crawford. right? Since August 29th, tickets listed $2,566 value, $7 million plus worth of tickets. Hey, bro, $7 million worth of tickets.
Veteran analyst Al Bernstein offered a blunt take, saying that despite the massive promotion, this isn't the fight boxing fans were truly asking for. He explained that the demand for Crawford versus Canelo wasn't organic, as most wanted to see Crawford face opponents in his own division, or Canelo against natural challengers at his weight. While the matchup has appeal on paper, Bernstein argues it lacks the rivalry or storyline that makes a fight must-see. He added that although the promotion has built plenty of noise, core boxing fans are less invested compared to other true super fights, calling this more of a marketing creation than a response to real demand.
To have these two level of fighters meet, where does this rank at?
I think it's one of those fights that, the interesting thing is, it wasn't as if every boxing fan said, boy, I can't wait to see Canelo fight Terence Crawford. In other words, it wasn't one of those fights. Like, there were more boxing fans that said, gee, I'd like to see Canelo fight David Benavidez. But having said that, I mean, among the hardcore boxing fans. Having said that, what they did, and this happens sometimes in boxing, they come up with a matchup that wasn't on everybody's mind, but kind of makes sense. And the proof is in the pudding. If you do one of those kind of matches and the interest is not there, you're going to find that out.
For sure.
In this case, obviously the interest was there because they've sold. I mean, I went online and looked at the ticket sales and everything, and they've sold. Looks like they've already sold 40,000 seats.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
believe
there's
they'll
not
sell
that
it
many
out.
left in Allegiant Stadium. So that alone is an indicator. The amount of attention and coverage the fight has gotten, and this is one of those fights that we'll also have a good barometer as we get closer to the fight. How much is the mainstream sports media covering the fight?
Yeah.
You know, it used to be in the old days, big fights were covered all the time by the mainstream sports media, not so much in recent years. And so that's always a barometer of whether it, really is as big as we think. As far as the actual matchup is concerned, when it was originally announced, I thought they were going to have a hard sell in convincing people that Crawford could come up 2 weight classes and take on a 168-pounder because he already moved.
Another common view on this matchup is that, while it will certainly draw a huge audience, it wasn't a fight fans were truly demanding. Many believe the size and weight difference gives Canelo a clear advantage, making the outcome feel predictable. The real intrigue rests on whether Crawford can overcome those disadvantages and make history. If he pulls it off, the fight will be remembered as a shocking, thrilling upset and a defining underdog moment. But if Canelo wins as most expect, it risks being dismissed as routine or inevitable. This tension between hope and expectation fuels the buildup. Fans want the upset, but fear a foregone conclusion.
Many tickets available for this fight because of that undercard. This promotion has been just, it's very interesting, man. Number one, there's no real reason for this fight to take place. Terence Crawford and Canelo. Nobody was asking for the fight. There's no natural connection between the two fighters. There's just two names that people think are on the top of a hypothetical list called the pound for pound list that many people act as if it's real. So they're two top pound for pound people, and they put them together and think this makes some big magic match. It may be a magic match once they get in the ring if Terence Crawford can overcome Canelo Álvarez. It's got a real potential for that. But what happens if the fight winds up just being what more than likely it'll be, which is Terence Crawford trying to get away from the bigger, stronger Canelo Álvarez? Because again, he's jumping so many weight classes. That's the gimmick. That jumping the weight class is the gimmick that is supposed to be attracting people to this fight. Gimmicks are not gonna pull it. And you can't tell me of the people. Now, there's gonna be many people in the stadium. People go to the fight for sure. There are gonna be people out there for that event. But you can't tell me that that particular event with the fights that they have on that card is going to be some memorable night of boxing, other than maybe it taking place in the main event. You have people. Many of these fighters are not from the United States. As I look from them, I mean, I would have to go out and see in the United States how many fighters from the United States do they actually have. Right?
Observers have been stunned by Terence Crawford's physical transformation at 175 pounds, a weight far beyond his natural division. Recent footage and images reveal a fighter who looks shredded, with carved muscles, a thicker neck, and broader shoulders. This isn't the Crawford fans are used to. This is a version built to face a powerhouse like Canelo Álvarez. What stands out isn't just the size, but the balance. Crawford has clearly invested in a strength and conditioning program designed to add power without sacrificing his trademark speed and agility. For many, it's proof he isn't walking into this fight undersized. He's stepping in evolved. The visual alone has shifted the conversation. A stronger, scarier-looking Crawford has sparked new debates. Will size really matter? Or has Crawford erased the very advantage Canelo was counting on?
Terence Bud Crawford is absolutely ripped, absolutely shredded. What looks to be about 175. Now he fights next Saturday, a week out from the fight. It's a week out from the weigh-in. So I'm sure that you look at Terence Bud Crawford right there and you see he is absolutely shredded right there. And this is a week before the weigh-in, right? So I'm pretty sure he's probably weighing about 174, something of that magnitude, maybe about 173. 175 is probably the max he is at one right now, because obviously the weight is at 168 and he's a week out. So he might be around 173, drop 5 pounds next Friday for the weigh-in, right? So Terence Crawford, as I showed you guys, is training and putting a mass in his shoulders and in his legs. As you can see here, once again, right? He hasn't gained a lot of muscle mass except in his shoulders, okay? When you look at Terence Crawford in previous fights, previous weigh-ins, his arms look pretty much the same. His neck and his shoulders is where you can see a clear difference from fights in the past, right? When you look at his midsection, his core, right? You can see the water weight, right? So right now, it's going to look like his midsection, his core is going to look bigger than what it actually is.
Canelo Álvarez's pedigree cannot be overstated. By the time most fighters are just stepping into the amateur spotlight, he was already a professional, sharpening his craft under the harshest lights of boxing. From battling rugged veterans in his teenage years to headlining stadiums packed with tens of thousands of roaring fans, Canelo's journey has been a masterclass in evolution. Every setback became a lesson, every opponent a stepping stone toward greatness. What separates Canelo from so many others is not just his raw talent, but his ability to learn, adapt, and reinvent himself against the highest level of competition. His jab, often overlooked because of his explosive counters, is surgical, used not only to score points, but to control distance and disrupt rhythm. Behind that lies a granite chin, forged from years of trading with some of boxing's hardest punchers. He's faced men with speed, with power, with awkward styles, and with every kind of game plan imaginable. Time and again, he has shown an uncanny ability to adjust mid-fight, sometimes starting slow, but finishing strong as he downloads data and breaks opponents down piece by piece. Victories across 4 weight divisions, from light middleweight to light heavyweight, have cemented his reputation as a pound-for-pound great. He's not just a champion, he's a proven survivor of eras, outlasting critics, hype trains, and the unforgiving grind of boxing's schedule. For Crawford, stepping into the ring with someone who has carried that level of experience and pressure is not just a physical challenge, but a mental one. Canelo thrives when the stakes are highest, and he has spent nearly 2 decades perfecting how to turn those moments into triumphs. That's what makes this fight so compelling. Crawford is bringing brilliance, adaptability, and hunger, but across from him will be a man who has walked through the fire of elite competition again and again, and lived to dominate. Canelo's blend of skill, toughness, and intelligence isn't just dangerous. It's historic.
Terence Crawford, a guru in the ring? Absolutely. He is one of the best fighters ever created in humanity. But you cannot say that I'm going to come in with 5 pounds taped across my arms and legs and then go against Canelo Álvarez. He's not going against some dude who doesn't have counter punches, who doesn't have a ring IQ. Canelo's been fighting since 15 and is one of the few fighters who has taken literally less punishment than, say, Caleb Plant, who has like 25 fights. If you look at the amount of punishment that Caleb Plant has taken in his fights, Canelo has probably taken less punishment than that. And he's coming in hungry. And he's going to come in with 87 billion Mexicans in the ring walk, everybody flying flags. You don't know what Crawford's stage fight is going to be, coming in front of 70,000 people. Canelo's been there. He's going to put the shoes to Crawford.
That wraps up today's video. Stay tuned for more updates, and we'll catch you in the next one.